I'm not going to demand any apology from anybody. What I am demanding is the return of assets.
From this day forward, it's going to be only America first. America first.
Tout le monde nous disait que c'était impossible. Everyone said it was impossible. Mais ils ne connaissaient pas la France. They didn't know France.
A lot is happening around the world today, from UK's historic exit from the European Union to Donald Trump's presidency that is putting America and its interests first. Now, there's also the emergence of a new generation of leaders from Luxembourg, Canada, Ireland, to the election of 39-year-old Emmanuel Macron in France. The world is changing, but to what extent will this change affect Nigeria and the African continent? That's the question we answer here on Global Arena, as we bring to you in-depth analysis of global issues and how they affect us, highlighting the continent's interest in international affairs. I am Nifemi Oguntoye. Welcome on board. On this edition, we're turning our attention to the admission of Morocco to ECOWAS, a development that has been described by some as the biggest challenge to Nigeria's foreign policy since the Civil War. We'll begin with a review of ECOWAS' 51st summit, held for the first time in Liberia, where Morocco's membership application was approved in principle, despite the country being in North Africa. Ghanaian President Nana Akufo-Addo arrived in Monrovia for the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS 51st Ordinary Session of the Conference of Heads of State and Government. It's the first time Liberia is hosting the event since the establishment of the 15-member sub-regional organization in 1975. Liberian President Ellen Joseph Sirleaf was elected chair of the ECOWAS Authority in Dakar, Senegal, on June 4, 2016.
Since the convening of the 16th Summit of the Organization of African Unity in 1979, Liberia has not hosted a summit of this magnitude. This meeting marks a turning point in the post-conflict recovery and reconstruction of our country. The meeting also holds a special meaning for another reason. We can recall today the pivotal role of ECOWAS in the restoration of peace following the protracted civil crisis in Liberia.
As the ECOWAS Authority of Heads of State and Government revert to their closed-door meeting, high on the agenda is the application for ECOWAS membership by the Kingdom of Morocco. The North African country is hoping to join the Economic Community of West African States after the African Union readmitted Morocco after a 33-year absence in January.
When you come back home after so many years of absence, it is very beautiful when you carry your heart to the home that you love. Africa is my home, and I come back home, and I would like to see you with great happiness. I miss you all.
However, King Mohammed VI of Morocco had cancelled plans to attend the West African Summit in Liberia due to the presence of Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. According to him, he wishes his first visit to an ECOWAS summit do not take place in the context of tension and controversy, given that Morocco has no diplomatic ties with Israel. Meanwhile, at the summit, which featured for the first time a non-African member, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says Israel is coming back to Africa.
I come here as an expression of a simple truth. Israel is coming back to Africa, and Africa is coming back to Israel. I believe in Africa. I believe in Africa. I believe in its potential, present and future. It is a continent on the rise. Its people are diverse and talented. I've made strengthening our relations one of our top priorities.
ECOWAS has in principle approved Morocco's membership application despite it being in North Africa. But ECOWAS leaders meeting in Liberia said the implications of its membership still needed to be considered before Morocco could formally join.
So I want to thank you for the great honor of addressing you here today. I wish the best of luck to the incoming chairperson of ECOWAS.
We're joined now in an exclusive chat with a former Nigerian ambassador who sheds more light on Morocco's ECOWAS membership and its impact on Nigeria's status as a regional power. Ambassador Segun Akinsanya is former ambassador of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to Ethiopia with concurrent accreditation to Djibouti, and was also permanent representative to the African Union and the United Nations Economic Commission for Africa. He's director and independent consultant at Gunsa African Consult, a consultancy firm with the Corporate Commission of Nigeria, with a policy analysis focus on governance issues, humanitarian, and other related human security issues in Africa. Ambassador Segun Akinsanya, thanks for joining us at Global Arena.
It's my pleasure. It's my pleasure. Thank you, Femi, for inviting me.
Let's begin with how ECOWAS has fared since inception in May 1975 here in Lagos, Nigeria.
That's
when the initial treaty was signed. Yeah. In your opinion, how well do you think the community has performed in its fulfillment of that main objective of economic integration, establishing a large common market, as well as creating a monetary union in the West African region?
Well, Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, was established, as you rightly said, in 1975, precisely about 42 years ago.
That's right.
And it came as a result of the efforts of Nigeria and Togo. Nigeria under Yakubu Gowon as head of state, and Togo under late Yasingbe Enyadema. It was a common effort. I recall that I was a young officer in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs at that time. I was actually a desk officer on ECOWAS. And it was a lot of fanfare in terms of Nigeria and Togo going around the West African states, contiguous states, geographical in terms of the location, to drum up support, basically to break the Anglo-Franco divide, particularly breaking the monopoly of the business interest of France, and breaking that divide. And since then, it has become a regional economic community that has done very well.
There's a school of thought that ECOWAS did not actually engineer the economic integration you're talking about. There are some who will say this started a long time even before colonization. The people in West Africa are treated far and wide, even beyond the region.
Well, that was the foundation. That was the foundation, migration. That was the foundation. I mean, if you go into even the historical elements, there are quite a lot of trade on the West African routes. Okay. There are a lot of movements. A lot of people live in Ghana. There's a town in Ejigbo. It's in Osun State, I suppose. And most of the people migrate to Cote d'Ivoire and also to Ghana. So there have been quite a lot of movement. I think to a certain extent, by the model of Africa, ECOWAS was a model. It was touching the lives of the people. You have informal trade, a lot of informal trade, which are now being formalized, and that really was a way of getting the West Africans to get to know themselves. You also have the socio-cultural aspect. You have the ECOWAS games, and you have the Nougat games, in which various interactive processes that fosters cooperation, that helps economic integration, And when you compare it with others in Africa.
Mauritania,
Yeah.
a member of the Arab, what's it called now? Arab Maghreb.
Arab Maghreb Union.
Was a member of ECOWAS
Yeah.
until its exit in 2001.
2001.
Why is Morocco's admission receiving so much criticism? Isn't it the more the merrier?
Well, foundation, the establishment of the ECOWAS, there are quite a lot of considerations. Ditto for other sub-regional organizations. The proximity, the geographical element, the need for group of countries within the same sub-region, bound by socio-cultural and economic and other interests, to pool their efforts together, manpower, resources, to foster economic integration. Mauritania was a founding member of the ECOWAS. But of course, you know, there are dissipation, centrifugal forces of joining other sub-regions. In all the sub-regions in Africa, you even have a country that belongs to 2 or 3.
That's right, even 4.
4. I mean, like Tanzania, for instance, is part of the EAC, is part of the SADC. But you find that they are still all within the almost the same region. A lot of things bound them together, even though it was a problem. That was what led to the AU rationalizing the regional economic communities to it, because you have a lot of things that's working up. Mauritania left because of efforts they saw themselves at that time in terms of new perspectives, belonging more to the east, more to the north, joining the Maghreb. But Maghreb is the most dysfunctional of all. Even the headquarters of the Arab Maghreb Union, AMU, is in Casablanca, is in Morocco. But they have never been cohesive. They have never functioned. They have never functioned the way ECOWAS, economic SADC, even COMESA, which is more of an amalgamation towards economic integration and partnership and economic arrangements. They have not mentioned. Egypt is not a member of the group. So, you see, why wouldn't you, if the original aim of the African Union is to strengthen regional economic corporations, regional economic communities as a building block to African unity, why would the members of the AMU not strengthen their own community?
You're asking why?
Why are they incursioning? It's an incursion into other areas.
But according to a 2015 report, it says that out of the 55 countries in Africa, 22 belong to dual membership.
Yeah, even triple.
22 belong to 3.
Triple.
We have countries that have retained a single membership, and 4 countries are members of 4 regional economic commissions. The only country that doesn't have any affiliation is Sahrawi Arab Democratic Republic. Does it not make economic sense what Morocco is doing? It's what any country will want to do, further its economic alliance with other parts of Africa.
What is the question you should ask Nifemi is that what is the status of the Sahrawi Democratic Republic, apart from the fact that through the Nigerians' effort, it became recognized by the African Union.
That's right.
But a part of that republic is still under Moroccan rule. Even against the resolutions of the United Nations, against the resolutions of the AU, and the goods, what emanates from this area that is under Moroccan control, is what is now being dangled to buttress, to foster their economic interest in Africa. Phosphates. These phosphates, these resources, it belongs to the Sahrawi people. And they are still under the domination. Morocco was just admitted into the African Union after a long absence. And many people were questioning. Sahrawi Democratic Republic, SADC, is a member of the AU, part of the policy organs. Now, they are now sitting together in the policy organs, Peace and Security Council, Permanent Representatives Committee, and others, while the issue of Sahrawi people has not been settled. That itself, you see, I mean, I'm not sure whether you followed the recent recent meeting of the EU.
The 54th.
The last meeting that Oshimaju attended, in which in the Peace and Security Council, Nigeria has to come in to balance a report. Many people are saying that we are now acquiescing to the Moroccan will against the wish of the United Nations. But we have a diplomacy that people are saying that they cannot understand. And there are quite a lot of questions unanswered. When you talk about the best in terms of governance, the best in terms of maintaining cohesiveness and security positions because of our nearness, because of our economy, look at even the free movement of people. It's not easy to even go to South Africa. It's not easy for a Botswanan to go to South Africa, not to take Lesotho. But we have free movement of persons. You can, so all these are elements thanks to Nigeria. The question people are asking is why do we want to allow an outsider that has not strengthened his own backyard to now infiltrate into West Africa? Is it, many questions have been asked, is it because of economic interest? Yes, we take the point that no permanent friends, no permanent interests are permanent. What are those interests? Purely economic? It's not enough to whittle down our leadership.
Let's look at the situation as we have it now.
Yeah.
ECOWAS has in principle approved Morocco's membership application.
It has agreed in principle.
In principle.
Yes.
But ECOWAS leaders meeting in Liberia says the implications of its membership still need to be considered before Morocco could formally join.
That is it.
What are the implications on ECOWAS itself?
That is it. You see, many people are asking that question. You know, we host the Secretariat of the ECOWAS in Abuja. Is it the decision of the Secretariat to invite Morocco, or is it a collective decision of the chair at that time? Because, I mean, reports have it that Salif Johnson went to Morocco just before the ECOWAS summit, and that the chair of the commission, the ECOWAS commission, also went. You know, invitations are made. I mean, you know, this issue has attracted a lot of debate. The ACAN, Association of Retired Career Ambassadors, they have spoken. Other foreign policy activists have spoken. Professor Akinyemi, Bolaji Akinyemi, has spoken. Bolaji Akinyemi was even postulating that Nigeria should get out of the ECOWAS.
What do you think about that?
No, I don't believe that. I mean, we should not abandon our role.
Just because the implication on economy?
Yeah, interest. I mean, you know, I think that was a bit offshoot by my boss. I'm sorry to say that. And then many people have taken him on that. But I'm sure that it was born out of frustration. That why should this be happening?
According to the former Affairs Minister, Professor Bolaji Akinyemi, well, according to him, he even calls these perhaps the biggest challenge to Nigeria's foreign policy since the Civil War. I
will tell you, it was very mild about it. This is the most foreign policy somersault, the most foreign policy inconsistency that we have seen in the Nigerian foreign policy evolution. Do you remember the role that Nigeria played in the independence of Angola? The speech that Muritala Mohammed made turned the table against Savimbi to bring Augustine Neto for people to recognize Angola. That is the mark of leadership. That is the mark of leadership. That is the leadership role. The leadership role that we played, even during the time of Ivorian crisis, when South Africa and some other countries were trying to get into a natural backyard. But is that what is primarily in the minds of Morocco? not. They want to gain a lot of influence. They want to go into the Security Council or back up a French, an Arab-speaking country like Egypt did against Nigeria. They are muscling their influence. The Yadema elder that formed ECOWAS, his son, Fore Yadema, is the now that is trying to promote Morocco, because the next summit of ECOWAS is going to be in October.
That's right.
And Nigeria must do everything possible to reassert itself to see no way Morocco don't come into ECOWAS.
Let's begin to tidy this up there.
Yeah.
The last ECOWAS summit had recorded a number of firsts. It was the first to be held in Monrovia, Liberia.
It was the first, let me just remind you, it was the first that Nigeria was not represented.
I was also getting there. There were controversies about whether Nigeria as a country was well represented. However, the Minister of Foreign Affairs has debunked that claim, saying that indeed Nigeria was represented, although he's yet to give the names of those who represented Nigeria.
At what level was Nigeria represented? That's the question.
There's also the issue of Morocco boycotting that meeting because it was the first meeting that will involve a non-African member, talking about the Israeli Prime Minister.
Netanyahu came to the summit here.
Let's begin with Nigeria's representation.
Okay.
Former President Olusegun Obasanjo was there. We're yet to know whether he
was not a Nigerian leader. He was not a Nigerian, no.
Or just being an elder
No,
statesman.
he's an elder statesman. Obasanjo plays a lot of leadership role in Africa now, not speaking for the Nigerian government.
His presence there, some people would think that it's representative of the Nigerian government.
No. You see, if you do the representation at conferences, there are various wings. You have the official level. You have ambassadorial level, like for instance in the AU, we meet at ambassadorial level. They are permanent, we are called permanent representatives. Okay. And you also have some permanent representatives for ECOWAS also in some countries, in Addis Ababa. You meet on all the agenda items. You make recommendations to the council. Then the council make recommendations to the summit, which is the authority of the heads of states and government. Representations varies. At various official levels, you have officials, you have ministers. But at least at the summit level, you must have a minister. You cannot say a personal envoy of ECOWAS, Nigeria's personal envoy to ECOWAS, to be at the level to speak with head of states. That representation is low-keyed.
Could it be a protest against Morocco's membership?
Well, a lot of things have been said, but have been said about why. Some people said that when they heard that Netanyahu was coming, we have very strong bilateral relations with Israel, you know that, and we have with Morocco. That might be we play that ambivalent role because we want to be silent. Nigeria cannot afford to be silent on ECOWAS matters, my dear friend. That is the issue. That is why some people say it's a policy somersault. Nigeria cannot afford.
Well,
they gave some reasoning. Okay. Yes, officially you are represented. But if an official, even me as an ambassador, I've done this several times before. I spoke in the summit. But the representation is not the same.
We also have to make this clear that the position of the federal government, according to the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Godfrey
Oyama, yes,
is that Nigeria was represented. Perhaps we should just leave that as it is.
Well, that was what he said.
But then, the development is a situation where Morocco boycotted the summit because it has no diplomatic ties with Israel. Is that not also going to be another crop of challenges eventually if Morocco gets admitted?
No, it's not only that. It's not only because of that. You know, the identification of many African countries to the Palestinian question.
That's right.
It's Israel against Morocco. I was Nigerian ambassador in Ethiopia and to the AU. Well, Ethiopia maintains very good relations with Israel. The ambassador is there, and every session of the African Union, they welcome the PLO man. You know, he addresses the summit. I've forgotten his name now, but he comes in, he addresses, because African countries are aligned, or they have some attachment to the Palestinian cause. And this has always been the position, even though they maintain bilateral relations with Israel in terms of economic development, agriculture, and various sectors. But when it comes to the continental level, it is not on. So it is the same thing within ECOWAS. But Netanyahu is also dangling his foreign policy. There's going to be Africa-Israel partnership that is going to hold in Africa. I think it's going to hold in Lomé too. So, if you watch him speak, of course he's doing quite a lot with Africa. Morocco is also doing a lot with Africa. So, the fact that Morocco didn't come, of course, it's not just because it has no diplomatic status. It has to do with the long-established relationship with the Palestinian cause. Yeah, but if you link that to us, is that why we didn't go?
What will be your advice to the government? What role would you expect them to play now against Morocco's admission?
Well, I'm speaking personally now, even though the position of the Association of Retired Career Ambassadors is very clear. Nigeria should go to Lomé in October with a very strong voice to say Morocco has no place in the ECOWAS.
Thank you very much for joining us on the show today.
It's my pleasure.
Ambassador Segun Akinsanya.
It's my pleasure.
Glad to have you around. And that's our show this week in Global Arena. The conversation, however, continues on social media. And I'll be back next week, God willing, with another exciting edition. Until then, keep supporting an integrated, prosperous, and peaceful Africa. I am Nifemi Oguntoye. Bye for now.
Nigeria and Afghanistan, what would you as this particular decision is actually not corrupt?
I'm not going to demand any apology from anybody. What I am demanding is the return of assets.
From this day forward, it's going to be only America first. America first.